Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to the Jayne Arledge Show. I'm your host, Fred Battenfield. It's good to have you back on the Crusader Sports Network once again. I'm here with our head women's basketball coach at North Greenville, Jayne Arledge. Coach, let's talk tonight a little bit about tonight's game with Tusculum of Tennessee coming all the way down to play us here at Hayes Gym tonight at 5:30.
Tusculum's a very good team. In fact, they're nationally ranked right now. They've got all kinds of things in their arsenal. They've got good height, good post players that are active, that move around, that do some good things. They've got great shooters. They've got all kinds of speed that run up and down the floor. They play intense defense, so it's going to be a battle. You know, they're one of the top teams in their conference. So we're going to have to show up with our A game to make it happen for us. Okay, we'll look forward to seeing that game tonight. But talk a little bit about your last time out against Mars Hill. That must have been quite a game. Fell a little bit behind in the first half and fought like crazy, got down by one with a minute to go and couldn't quite pull it out. Right. Yeah, we started off so sluggish. I don't know if it was too much turkey from Thanksgiving or what it was. We just went out, and first 10 minutes of the game, I think we scored 5 points. And so, you know, they're scoring like, you know, normal, and so we were down 20, just bam. And so then, you know, it was a claw, and then we started hitting some shots and doing some things. We switched to a zone defense, which slowed them down a little bit because we were letting them penetrate way too much. And so after we slowed them down, then we started hitting some of our shots and making some better defensive plays. And so when that happened, we got it down to like 9 with 3 minutes to go, and there was a timeout. And I said, okay, let's really try to cut it down to, you know, 5 or under at halftime. And then we proceeded to go out and get down 18 at halftime. So that's the way it goes sometimes on your pep talks that you take. But, you know, so then we came in and we had some discussions at halftime, as coaches have, a lot of discussions. And we changed some things and came out the second half, picked up our intensity tremendously. It was a totally different team second half. And we made it a battle. We got out there and you know, our zone was doing better, and then we went to pressing. Our press worked good for us, and so after that we got some easy turnovers, some steals, some layups. Got it down to 1, like you said, with 1 minute to go. They had the ball, so we went down. We were trying to get a stop, and we fouled them. They made both free throws, and then we went down. We threw the ball into Amanda Milner, and you know, a questionable call by the refs of walking. She scored, but they called walking, so they disallowed the basket. So then we had to foul again, and then it went from there. Right, then they made 2 free throws at the end to give it the final margin. Right. So it seemed like Amanda really had a slow off game. She only scored 9 points in that game. Was it partly the officials, or partly she just got into foul trouble? She got into foul trouble. You know, Amanda's one of our best post player we have, and she's a big girl, and so they always seem to let people just maul her. I mean, there'll be 2 or 3 people hanging on her, and it's never a foul hardly. You know, she shot 2 foul shots, and they're killing her all night long. But yet she touches somebody, and they call a foul on her. So she was in foul trouble most of the night. Whereas Mindy Greenstone, she was, you know, out there, and she was making a little spin move where she was flipping the ball up, and the referees would call little touch fouls, and she was going to the foul line, which helped us tremendously because I think she had one of her best games ever. And made a lot of those points from the free throw line. Yeah, she did. Well, that was a big, you know, a key situation where Amanda didn't get the normal 20 points a game she's been averaging, but Mindy seemed to step up for you in that game. She did a great job for us, and you know, she really started the comeback. And without her, I don't know what would have happened. But she did a good job inside, getting around their post players and doing little scoop shots under them, which, like I said, they were going in, and she was getting fouled. She had a lot of and ones. Well, who else has stepped up for you lately? A lot of other players have had some great games. Carly Stacci's had several good games early. Anybody else that's kind of under the radar that we really haven't talked about as much? Jaquetta Golden's doing some good things for us. She's our little speed, one we use for speed, for penetration. She had some good passes. You know, Nikki Wood's still doing a good job for us running the point. So right now, I'm happy with the way we're playing. We're still learning. We're still trying to everybody find out their role, find out what we need them to do and how to get it done. My 2 shooting guards right now, they're in kind of a little bit of slump because we're not doing a great job of setting good picks for them, and they're not doing a good job of reading the defense coming off those picks. So all that's going to come as we go along.
Okay, well, Coach, you mentioned holiday turkey. You've got a long holiday break coming up. Your next home game is December 13th when you host the Apprentice School out of Virginia at the Hayes Gym. That game was tip-off at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That's a week from Saturday. Kind of have a little bit of a break. How do you keep them focused on basketball during this long holiday break?
Well, we have to take off for exams because, we have to, try to get them to do as well as they can possibly do in their academics first. So we take some time off, and then we've got a couple days that we can really work on what we need to get better at. 4 or 5 days where we can really just focus in on improving. And this is, we get very few times once the season starts that you get 3 or 4 or 5 days that you can really focus on improving. And so thankfully we've got there this time. And,
yes, absolutely.
And so during this time, we're going to work on some different defenses. We're going to work on improving our offense a little bit, work on our intensity, that type of thing.
Okay, and I know as a professor, I want those students out there focusing on their grades, especially during this final exam time. But as a coach, you need to get past the exams and get back to business of X's and O's and shooting some good basketball.
Right, and with girls especially, you don't want to give them a month off. Which the school's off for a month, so we've got to stay and we've got to work and get better at some things. And really the girls really like it because then. One time the girls said, I wish we could do this all the time, where all we had to do was eat and play basketball. It'd be great. They didn't have to go to school. So they kind of like it. It's a difference. It's a break. It's where they can just focus on basketball.
Okay. Anything specific in practice you worked on this week? You mentioned trying to get some new defenses in, but anything else that popped up in your first few games you needed to correct or that you've added to throw a few different wrinkles at some of your opponents?
We have worked a little bit more on our intensity level on defense because we're still, like I said, letting people penetrate us too much down the middle. We're working on, like I said, running our offense a little crisper, doing some different things, trying to get people open that need to be open and seeing the people that are open. So we're trying to really focus on that, trying to get our offense to really click the way it needs to.
Okay, Coach. Well, anything else before you play tonight? Then you play again on the 13th against the Apprentice School. Should be a couple opportunities to gain a couple wins and get a little momentum going into the holiday break.
Hopefully. We're going to do our best to get some wins.
Well, that's great. We encourage all fans to come out to Hayes Gymnasium to watch our women's team play the next couple home games. And for Coach Jayne Arledge, I'm Fred Battenfield, and thank you for joining us on the Jayne Arledge Show here on the NGU Crusader Sports Network.